What's up, everybody? My name is Patrick Jones, and I work with high school baseball players and help them in the college recruiting process. In today's episode, I am going to share with you a story of someone who maybe didn't do the right things in the recruiting process via bad body language, via bad attitude. And I think it's something that we all need a good reminder of at times. And I know I probably could have used this as a player too. So I got a DM from a former big league pitcher on Twitter, and he shared a story, his recruiting story with me, and he wanted to remain anonymous. So I'm going to respect that. And so in this story, he was telling me about his own recruiting process. He was at the time he was 6'6", throwing 93 miles an hour, 190 pounds soaking wet as a junior in high school. So just hearing that as a coach, it's like, man, this guy's 6'6", throwing 93, 190 pounds, so much upside. That just sounds like so much potential right there. It just so happens that this pitcher, his catcher in high school, was also a highly touted prospect. So initially, a lot of schools came out to watch this catcher. And of course, they couldn't help but notice the guy in the mound sometimes who was 6'6", throwing 93 miles an hour. And so fast forward a few months later, this guy and his catcher, they both get Division I scholarships, Power 5 schools. And so this guy, this pitcher, he goes to Power 5 school, and in his sophomore year, a new assistant coach comes on staff. We'll get into that in a little bit of the turnover in college baseball coaches and why that's important for you. But this new assistant coach comes on staff. He's meeting all the players, and so he's meeting this pitcher too. And he says, "Hey, I was at this previous school before, and I actually saw you in high school. I saw you pitch in high school because I went to go watch your catcher initially and saw you. Of course, couldn't miss you on the mound." And this guy's like, "Oh, okay, like awesome, man." So he said, "I just want to let you know that after I saw you pitch, I was like, man, this guy, a lot of potential, throwing 93 miles an hour, skinny. He said, I immediately crossed you off the list because you had the worst body language I had ever seen in my life. A guy would make an error behind you and, you'd throw your hands up, or, the umpire wouldn't give you a call on the outer half, and you'd look over at your coach and throw your hands in the air and, say something under your breath. And this kid, this pitcher at the time was like, he told me, he said, I was just so distraught. And he said, I needed to hear this, but I didn't want to hear it, but I needed it so bad because the previous season, his freshman year, he threw 5 innings in college. And he said up to that point, he was the guy who, when things were going good, he was cocky. He was felt like nobody could touch him. And he said the second things started to go bad, he would blame everybody else. He was a big baby. And so he said that, once that coach finally had told him that, and once someone told him that and he realized that had potentially hurt his reputation. And luckily it didn't hurt his career because he eventually figured it out and stopped doing that, ended up making to the major leagues. But it's a great reminder that, one, you never know who's watching, right? This guy, this pitcher on the mound, he assumed that, like everybody else, that they were coming to watch the catcher and that they, may not even notice him. And you may think, well, geez, he was throwing 93 as a 6'6" uncommitted junior in high school. But from a kid's perspective, they're not always thinking that. They're thinking, well, he's probably there just to watch the other guy, not me. 2, college coaches change jobs quite frequently. Okay. So how you carry yourself right now, even if the coach maybe doesn't have a need at your position, or maybe, he went and saw you and you just didn't happen to play very good that day. It's things that just are out of your control at times. But if it's bad body language, if it's bad attitude, if it's not hustling, the things that you can control, and you're not doing those things, like that's your reputation, and your reputation, it spreads like wildfire. Word of mouth is either the best marketing or it's the worst marketing for you as a player. And so this example, this was like, this is the worst marketing, right? Where it was like, this guy had his name crossed off the list. This was just one school, but there's probably several others too. And it put him in a position where even when he got to college his freshman year, he threw 5 innings and that was it. I'm sure this had a big reason why. And I'm not even going to get into like the science of body language, but there is a lot of research that if you want to look up, you can look up and see like how your body language, how it is, it plays a part into how well you are going to act and feel and things like that. So it is very, very important. And so it's just a good reminder. It's just a quick story that I wanted to share with you on the show, that you never know who's watching. And you also never know who is going to be at a different school in a few years. And so you may not necessarily impress everyone with your skills, but you don't ever want to turn anybody off by your attitude or the things you can control. So I hope that helped. Like I said, I do work with high school baseball players in the recruiting process, and we help reach out to college coaches on their behalf and just really help them find the right fit. So if you're interested in working with me, send an email, jonesbaseballtraining@gmail.com. Thanks again, and we'll see everybody next time.